Welcome back to BYU Sports Nation as we remember LaVell Edwards. The coach has passed away today at the age of 86. We have talked with Steve Young and Blaine Fowler, two of his former quarterbacks, and are now joined by the BYU athletic director, Tom Holmoe. Tom, great to have you with us on BYU Sports Nation. I wish it were under different circumstances, but again, this is a celebration, a time to remember what a great man he was. And let's start with this. What does LaVell Edwards mean to you?
Well, Spencer, LaVell was the perfect coach. He won on the field, and that's what a lot of people today have to have. And but he also brought so much more. And I think there's a lot of people talk about great coaches, and I don't think anybody in college football could match up to his record on the field, the way he dealt with every situation off the field, the love that he showed for his players, and it never changed. I think from the day I met him until today, he was always just a true person. He was an incredible man. He was a great coach. He was a great leader. He was a great disciple of Christ. I mean, a lot of people will never, he never wore his spiritual life on his sleeve, but he affected so many people by just his little talks. And, I, for one, was one of the young ones that spent time in his office on the, wrong side of the argument. And so I just saw the influence that he had firsthand with me.
Tom, you tweeted out something just a moment ago, and you said he came into my life and the life of many others at just the right time. What did you mean by that?
I think when you see, as I do, 18-year-old kids that come to BYU or whatever school it might be, they're so malleable. They can go in any direction. And the vast majority of the young men that came under the watchful care of LaVell picked up the lessons that he taught, because he taught in a way that people listened. He was so loving, so kind, but he was firm. I mean, we always joke, and Jim and I talk about this, but when Jim McMahon says, hey, if I can get through BYU, and accomplish the things that I did, then anybody can. And I think people don't realize how much LaVell loved Jim, and Jim loved LaVell. And I think that's true with probably most all the players.
BYU Athletic Director Tom Holmoe with us, recapping the life and legacy of LaVell Edwards. And it's impossible to do it in an hour show or a 2-hour show or a 2-year show for that matter, Tom. But one thing that really caught me off guard was Steve Young talking about, and not so much caught me off guard, but just kind of put things in perspective for me, was that the reason BYU is what it is today in terms of a national brand and what the football program means to so many across the country is in large part to the efforts of LaVell Edwards and what he did in not resurrecting a program, but really just jump-starting a program when he took the impossible job. What kind of a football legacy does LaVell Edwards leave behind, and how much does he mean to the current state of what BYU football is right now?
I mean, I think he means everything. The foundation of BYU football starts with LaVell Edwards, and it goes a long ways with Coach. Every wise football person, if you're in the football know, they all know that LaVell is the one that was the one responsible for everything. He was a humble man, and he gave all the credit to the players. He was coach of the NCAA Coach of the Year back in '84 national championship. He got his deserved. He's in the Hall of Fame, but he never tooted his own horn. He never, went out for all the publicity. And I think he got offers to go to other schools and into the NFL, and he stayed because he knew that this was the right place for him and his wife. And you can't say LaVell without saying Patty. And Patty and LaVell were a team, and he knew it. He was happy to play the role that he chose or was given to influence the BYU kids, and along the way, he influenced a lot of people outside of the program, and that. That's why I say, that he's the perfect coach. He's so well-rounded, so balanced, and you get it all. You get all the good, and you don't get any bad. That's kind of a crazy thing. And there's some really good coaches out there today, but man, I don't know if they can measure up to LaVell.
Tom, when we had Steve Young on, you referenced a couple of experiences that he felt best described the relationship that he had with LaVell. Is there a specific memory or something that stands out to you that best describes your relationship with him?
Well, I've been around LaVell since 1978, so it's been a long time, and we have a rich array of memories together. But I think one that I share a lot has to do with my dad. My first year, I was a freshman, redshirt. I didn't want a red shirt, and I wasn't really enjoying my time. I was a good student. School was good, but I wasn't playing, and that was not good. And I was feeling lonely and homesick, and I was just being a practice squad guy, and things weren't great. I was playing okay, but I wasn't, on the field, but I wasn't playing in the games, and I was sad. And by Thanksgiving, I had it. I kind of was thinking about hanging it up and going home, and my mom and dad came up for Thanksgiving, and we were having a practice prior to when we were, the Thanksgiving break. I can't remember the details, but Dad came to talk to LaVell, and he came out in the field early before practice, and LaVell came out and started talking to my dad for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe, and I was out there stretching, and I'm going, oh boy, what's my dad going to say to Coach? And then as practice proceeded, LaVell didn't come to practice. He just stood there talking to my dad, and I was freaking out. As there's practice started, and LaVell still talking to my dad, and it went on for like a half hour. And after practice, I come up to my dad, and he had stayed to watch, and he goes, "You're not going anywhere. That guy's got the perfect feel for you. He'll be perfect for you. I'm not letting you go anywhere." Mm. And, he spent half an hour practice with a redshirt freshman who wasn't playing his dad. And, that was kind of start. And then I just kind of had to change my attitude. And LaVell had a lot to do with changing my attitude.
Tom Holmoe, the BYU athletic director, former BYU football star, NFL player, Super Bowl winner, reminiscing about LaVell Edwards and the relationship that Tom had with him, not just while a player, but also while the athletic director here at the Y. Tom, so many great stories about LaVell, and I anticipate we're going to hear the majority of them from different players and different people in their specific walks of life over the next weeks and years. But we like to remember LaVell for his quick wit and his very unique, fantastic sense of humor. Do you have a story that you can share with us that brings a smile to your face and always makes you kind of laugh in your heart?
Yeah, I had a bunch, but some of them I can't even tell. But I just think that it's just perfect. I love what you said. We're going to celebrate his life today, this week, and for a long, long time. We're not going to forget about Coach. It's like he's got a stadium named after him, and you know, that doesn't even do it right there. It's just everybody to be able to see him and feel. I got a chance to talk with him at his home on the day we left for the Poinsettia Bowl for San Diego. Man, that was precious to be able to sit by him and talk about some of the holiday bowls, and he was great at that time. And I knew things were not good, but he still had that sense of humor. He's got that little laugh. I think it's that sparkle in his eye and that little smile, and he knew everybody. He knew everybody. And I think one of the things that I always remember is whenever I travel around the country for various functions, football, basketball, whatever sport it might be, it's amazing how many people ask me about LaVell. And I think I just don't know if the people of Provo understand the magnitude of the influence and how universal it is. I think sometimes people think that it's just a kind of a BYU thing. But, man, it's everybody loves LaVell and Patty. And we're going to celebrate this incredible life. He lived an incredibly full life. And it was a beautiful life to 86 years old, accomplishments endless, influence forever. And, you know, I weep, but I'm not sad because it's just a beautiful life.
Yeah, well said. Kind of encompassing the feeling that I have right now, where you know you feel like crying because you are so sad, and you know I didn't have as much interaction or close to that of what you had with him, Tom. But the interactions I did have with him, and the interviews, and the handshakes, and the smiles, those are something that you never forget, and it just was so genuine. There's nothing unreal about what he did and what he said, and the influence he had not just on me but on everyone. And so I know this is incredibly difficult for you to discuss and to do so in such a fresh and fragile state, but we certainly appreciate you giving us that insight and helping BYU Sports Nation cope with the loss of a legend and a friend and a father figure in so many different ways. So, Tom, thank you for what you've done today.
Hey, we all love him. Thank you, Spencer.